That's a part of being black.
I love it. Being black, 25 minutes late. Well, I know a lot of people want to know, who the hell is Steve Coakley? Who are you, Steve?
Well, Richard, I'm R.A., Brother R.A. One, I'm pleased to be here with you, to have this opportunity.
Thank you for coming.
To share this information. I've come a long way to Boston to share a specific type of information which makes people request my presence. I'm here known as a brother who names the names or pinpoints or identifies specifically the people who are at the bottom of one of the most dangerous cancers known to humankind, white supremacy. Part of, over the course of our existence as a race of people, we have been suffering from a cancer where we have misapplied the medicine or the remedy. Part of our lack of effective response has been our inability to pinpoint specifically and what type of infectious cancer it is and whom it is specifically that perpetrates it.
Define and destroy. And we haven't been able to do that.
And Brother Steve is just another victim in a pool of people who have been disrespected and lied to, had their land taken, had their parents and children raped and miseducated and slaughtered and hung and held in jails. I'm just another victim who have risen up on behalf of the millions of downtrodden. We're about to enjoy a Thanksgiving coming here in late November, where we give honor to the stealing of this country. I'm just another victim in a pile of people who have been disrespected by this cancer called white supremacy.
So that's who you are.
Just another victim.
Just another victim. Okay. Not just another brother, but another victim.
Whom, this case, happens to be a brother. I think over the course of this evening, we're going to talk about them Kennedy boys. We're here in Massachusetts. Hey, obviously the New World Order is coming, and Kennedy name wasn't on it. They jammed the brother, they jammed the other brother, and they eliminated the third brother from power. This is no game, this white supremacy. It has even destroyed other white people.
That's a heavy statement. So white supremacy destroys other white people, too?
Yes, because there are a specific group of whites who, in fact, play a lineage or a breeding or a genealogical connection where the families perpetrate the leadership by mere birth. And this inherited right of leadership, not the president, not the senator, not the congressman, not the newspaper publisher. These are the people who compel those people to toe the line on behalf of the core of negativity. What Brother Coakley specializes in is identifying the forces behind the forces. Many campuses I lecture at around the country, little students come up, especially the white students, say, well, is this a black thing, this anti-white supremacy program? I said, well, you know, I said, who did you like? He said, I like Ronald Reagan. I said, well, they shot him in the belly. And they shot him in the belly. His wife was so afraid she turned to the horoscope woman to get a concession about, a consensus about how she would run his schedule. P-Rot, some people call him Perot, ran for president. He was winning the election in August. He was the front-running candidate. All of a sudden, he gets right out of the race, R.A., jumps up in the stands, takes a seat. Bush and Clinton run past him, starting to turn for home. He jumps back out the stands, gets back in the race, and when he comes back in, they say, why did you leave? He said, because they threatened to kill my daughter. And he's a $3 billion rich white man. So as we spend our time being black tonight, those other little weak white children who cannot trace their lineage to Prince Charles or Lady Di need to hope that the drift that blows along the black revolution frees their little white naked butts too. Hotep.
Hotep. Okay, I said we're coming to you live. This show is going to be, I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want to say because it's my motherfucking show. Now, I want to get right into, you said something about miseducation. let's deal with that. Miseducation, what are your thoughts, your feelings? What about the white teachers teaching the young black males? Or
example, I've lectured at UCLA, University of Kansas, Northwestern, Howard University, Hampton University, University of Chicago, University of Illinois, University of Minnesota. In each of these schools, and thousands more, I asked some basic questions. I said, how many students in here are taking economics? I was at Syracuse University 2 weeks ago. How many students take economics? 20 or 30 students stand up. I say, would you tell me who runs the Paris Club? They look at each other. Paris Club, what is that? They shrug their shoulders. They have no idea what the Paris Club is. I said, well, let's see. Who runs the World Bank? They all look at each other. World Bank, you know, not too far away in downstate New York, just a little train ride. One of the most powerful financial institutions on the New World Order. No knowledge of who ran the World Bank. Who runs the International Monetary Fund? No knowledge of who runs the International Monetary Fund. And I said, well, if you're in economics and you don't know the engineers, the ultimate authorities in the wave of the flow of money, how in the hell can you learn something about the science of economics if you don't know power, which compels economics, education, and other institutions, and including religion, which we'll talk a little bit about later. And so what I come to understand is that education has been really about control. If I was to walk around to these colleges here in Boston, and we drove past some to come here, and to walk in there and to ask those students who ran these power institutions, I bet you $1,000 cash, $9.99 out of 100 will not know, because I can guarantee their uniform miseducation. They have been organizedly deprived, and the most dangerous thing is, Richard, R.A., when they leave school, they think they know something, and they go to somebody who they think wasn't educated and tell them how much smarter they are, but in the realms of real power, they have been organizedly misled. But I could prove to you that the professors of economics, or the people who endow the chairs, or the presidents who control those who run the divisions that give the tenure, I could prove to you that they beg and search and pursue in an ambitious, individualistic nature the right and privilege to go to these higher up exclusive places, to be a part of the leadership of the New World Order, but then know to walk out of those meetings and never utter a word of who those players really are. And that's why the students have no idea who really runs economics. When I then go down and I say, who runs the Federal Reserve Bank? A few of them jump up and holler, Alan Greenspan. Or like you have a Boston Federal Reserve. How many people know the 12 board members of the Federal Reserve in this region? What is their relationship? What bank boards do they sit on? What insurance company boards do they sit on? What major industrial corporations do they sit on? And if you go to the Federal Reserve Bank, you'll know what the little dummy mayor does. Because from there comes a sub-level of instruction, where the people who work those Federal Reserve Banks carry out the responsibility of the private owners of the financial banking system. And in the New World Order, they busted the local banking white guy, the little savings and loan guy. They busted his butt, collapsed the industry, paid him off with $400 billion, telling the people they got no money for education, no money for health care. $400 billion to bust the banks, to go global with the banks. Because in the New World Order, education, starting in 1975, had to be decreased to lower the aspirations of the people. R.A., I went to college for free. I went to college for free because I came in the generation after the riots of the 60s, when the institutions of Harvard were taken over by students with guns. They took over the administration buildings at Harvard, and when they did, they found at Harvard there were secret meetings of the Council on Foreign Relations being held on the campus of Harvard. You can find this in a good book written by two ex-CIA officers called Victor Marchetti and Marx. They wrote a book called The CIA and the Cult of Intelligence, and in there are the transcripts of a meeting where Richard Bissell spoke to the professors and the authorities at Harvard, an exclusive off-the-record meeting of the Council on Foreign Relations explaining the entire covert action program of the CIA. And in that dialogue, he explained how leadership exchange programs and educational exchange programs on the surface looking like educational and cultural exchange were actually CIA eyes and ears operations where they were really feeling out personalities and assessing potential future leadership. That is a fact. And one of the things that they hate about my dialogue is that is so well documented with good white sources. Because when Brother Steve comes, they say, oh, a lot of yak, but then he quotes that good white source, and they go, yeah, impeccable sources there, yes.
That was my next question. Where do you get your information from? I
think that's a valid question.
You said you're everyday people, right? You just another
regular guy. Just
a regular guy. So I'm a regular guy. Where can I go to become as conscious as you are?
Here's a good start. This is out now. Every regular guy should have one of these. This is the, somebody ought to pick it up. I want to see it on the camera. If I have to hold it up, I'm going to hold it up until I can get it. You got to give me some focus. Because we want these people to be understood. This is the Forbes 400. Every regular guy could buy this for $5 at the newsstand. It profiles the 400 richest people in America. Everybody should want to know who these people are. That's why the people are abused so readily, is that they cannot equate wealth with domination. Do you understand, Richard, that 0.1% of the population, excuse me, R.A., that 0.1% of the population controls 72% of the wealth? That means that 99.9% of the people got to split 28% of the wealth, which is that's where crime comes in, when the 99% of the people got to fight over 28 pieces of food. Can 99 people eat 28 pieces of food while 0.1 person eats 72 pieces of food? That's what's wrong in America. 0.1% of the population controls 72% of the wealth in America.
Just in America?
That's just in America. Wealth in other countries like Europe, dominated by the Rothschild family, Australia and Africa, dominated by the Oppenheimer family, could show examples similar to those where there are few families that control huge volumes of wealth, and through their wealth they perpetrate their ideas. For example, say in America we had the Rockefeller family. I just left State University of New York at Stony Brook. I say, what about the Rockefellers? Don't nobody know nothing about them, right? He had exploited the state for 500 years. He has foundations. He has Exxon, Mobil Oil, Amoco, Standard Oil. I mean, that's Amoco is Standard Oil of Indiana now. Atlanta Richfield. He has the Rockefeller Foundation, the Ford Foundation. He then has Chase Manhattan, interlock with Citicorp, interlock with Morgan. And we just keep spilling down this interlocking relationship. But when you look in the book, Rockefeller pretends like he has only $1 billion. Then you see P-Rot has $3 billion. You would think that P-Rot with $3 billion has more influence than Rockefeller at $1 billion, but the very, very rich downplay their wealth so that Rockefeller will only want to look like $1 billion. Then there's a little footnote that says all oil wealth, in other words, untapped oil fields, untapped gold mines are not counted in wealth. Therefore, a potential oil owner could be 10 times as rich, not counting unprocessed oil. And then they know how much oil is there when they buy the plot of land. So we're talking about the ability to underestimate wealth to hide who's in power. Let's play a little game tonight. Okay. Let's pretend like we Dorothy, Toto, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the She-Wolf, or whoever the hell that was, going on Yellow Brick Road. Right. And let's pretend like we going to find the wizard, because somebody been fucking up ours. And we need to get to the bottom of this. Now let's head on through the OEO boys and the Wicked Witch of the West and these other things that we'll follow on the road.
Okay, I just want to ask, okay, so you get your information from, I mean, you could go to the library. I mean, there's no profound, no secret documents, everything?
Everything is publicly available. Okay. Here's a publicly available book This book here is called The Masons Who Helped Shape Our Nation. And I'm going to hold it here till you move that camera over here to it.
And